Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is something I want to try just a little bit different than usual. I'm going to call this the Weekly Roundup. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all the things that have happened over the course of, like, say, the past week, sometimes even the past 2 weeks, if significant, well, not enough stuff sort of happened or too much stuff's happened. So what we will be doing is be breaking it down. So on this one today, I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things to talk about today. And we're going to be breaking these up into nice little sections. So most of these should be around anywhere between 2 to maybe 5 minutes at the most, so we talk about them. And then we'll move on to the next section. So I'm going to try and keep this nice, linear with the right sort of sections. And we'll even try and see if we can put them into chapters below. So let's get into it, shall we? Also, just before we kick things off, I'd like to say a big thank you to all my Cup of Coffee tier supporters down here. If you want to be like these guys and help support the channel, why not become a part of the School of Science Cup of Coffee tier? It's less than £1 a month, and you do support the channel very gratefully by doing so. Right, let's kick things off. Okay, so first things first, we're going to talk about Dominic Cavalu leaving Everton. So, after 9 years of service to the football club, ranging from being a midfielder to a right back to a centre forward, Dominic Cavalu has now left Everton Football Club, and he will be moving on to different things. Now, I am gutted to see him go. He has been a very good servant to the club. However, I do think the time is right, because what we've got to take into account is, since he's come to the club, it's been a bit of a misfire for him in some situations. Now, he did kick things off really well under Ancelotti. He had a great time with Ancelotti when he had the likes of Richarlison, James Rodriguez, Decore, Alan, Bernard, Luca Dean. These sort of guys feeding them and getting them the goals left, right and centre. So in them situations, he did extremely well. I think he got close to 20 goals that season. Almost 20 goals, I'm not mistaken. I'll put it here if it's wrong. But yeah. So he did score a lot in that one season, but the seasons prior to that, as well as the seasons preceding that, he just didn't seem to hit the heights that we were expecting. And it was a terrible shame, really, because he was a great person. He was a great player and a great person, so to see him go is sad. But I do think this is probably the best time for him to move on and try different things, whether that be a different competition, whether that be with a different team, whether that just be a different tier of football altogether. Whatever it is, I do wish him the best. Now, the question is, who's going to take that number 9 shirt? Is Beto going to sacrifice the number 14 shirt and go into number 9? Is Chimiti going to say, no, I think I deserve that. I think I'm going to become the number 9. Or does a new signing come in and become the number 9? Time will tell. It'll be very interesting to see who takes that number 9 shirt, because it has a lot of weight on it. Because what we've got to take into account is the first ever number 9 was a very certain Dixie Dean. He was one of the very first people to wear the number 9 shirts, especially, well, better yet, he was one of the very first people to wear one of the numbers on the back. So if anyone's unfamiliar with this, so Everton, I think it was Everton and Man City, the FA Cup final, I think it was one of the first games, well, it was the first game because you would test the numbers. So Everton had 1 through 11, and the opposing team, I think it is Man City, don't quote me on it, but I believe it is Man City. They had the numbers 12 through 22, is it? Yeah, 12 through 22. And that was a very... Is it 12 or 20? You know what I mean. You get what I mean. So yeah. So these were the very first teams that actually hold these numbers. And it's one of the big landmarks in history, because since then, as you know from up here, the numbers have stuck. And we even introduced names onto them a little bit later on down the line. So yeah, so I digress. So we're going to now move on to the next section. Right, so as you can see there, the new section, this next section is Jared Branthwaite signing a new and improved contract for 5 years with Everton. So with this contract, he will be with Everton till, well, his contract will be valid until the end of June 2030. So this contract actually has a very significant boost in his pay, obviously. And I'm assuming there's going to be other bonuses and everything like that. So this was to pretty much solidify his position with the club. It was our way of saying to him, look, you are one of the most valuable players we've had in quite a while. We do not want to lose you. So we want you to stay at this club for as long as possible. David Moyes has even made it clear that he likes to centre his play around defenders, especially someone like Jared Branthwaite, a very young, very promising centre-back who knows where the net is and is just, he epitomises a Moyes player. He's hard-working, he's willing to put himself on the line, and he's going to try other things rather than just being a simple centre-back. So he's able to push up when need be. So in the box, he's got the height. He's able to get a head on the ball. He can shoot as well, so he's able to get a good hit on him. He knows how to pass. He knows how to cross. He knows how to do a lot of things that modern footballers need to be very well rehearsed in. So for him to sign a contract with us is magnificent. It is magnificent. I'm not sure what the actual figure is. I've heard something along the lines of 125 grand a week. I can't give you a validity. I can't give you the validity of that. This is purely hearsay. That's what I've heard. But if that's the number that has been put around, I think that's the right number. 125 grand for a young lad, hungry, doing so well with the club. He'd be, I'm not sure whether he's the top paid player or the second to top paid player at the football club next to Pickford's, because I think Pickford's on about 120 or even 130 grand a week, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so on to the next section. Right, so Coleman signs a new contract with Everton. So with this contract, it's a 1-year extension. So this will see him throughout the 25-26 season. And at the end of 2026, well, say the end of 2026, the end of this season, his contract will expire. And from there, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there with the football club. Because I personally think what's going to end up, well, what I would like to see is him taking on a more coaching role. He's got great leadership skills. He is our club captain. So I think him going and retiring from football altogether would be a massive shame to football. I do think over the course of the coming years, I do think him going into the more coaching role, doing what Leighton Baines is doing right now, something like that would be a massive, massive thing for him, just for the fact that he's got a lot to give to the team. He's a very brilliant motivator. All of the players in the squads have even said, even the international team, so the Republic of Ireland team, even say how much of a role model, a leader, and a motivator he is. He's got the passion there. And to see him go and just retire or, I don't know, become a pundit, it would just be a massive waste. He's got so much potential as a really good coach or manager. I mean, just imagine, let's say 5-10 years down the line, he could potentially even be managing the likes of the Republic of Ireland. Could you imagine Seamus Coleman managing Jake O'Brien? So Jake O'Brien has definitely got the lead. I think he's got the potential for being a good captain. So I do think Seamus Coleman managing, Jake O'Brien becomes the manager. That he becomes the captain. Sorry, I'm a little bit all 6s and 7s at the moment. So yeah, so I don't think he's going to be having a very big playing role in regards to coaching and in regards to his all around just leadership skills. They are what's going to be critical over the course of the next season. And especially when it comes to the back room as well. Just trying to, the likes of Tarkowski and Coleman, trying to lead the fronts. It's very critical for this because we're going into a very new stadium. It's going to be a very alien thing for us. Basically for the first, I'd say, easily 10 to 15 home games. It's going to feel very alien for the squad. I do think Moyes is going to be pushing for them to be training in the new stadium at times. So what's going to probably happen is the last training session before each home game, or even before they set out for an away game, they will be inside the stadium doing drills and everything like that, so they can get used to the turf, so they can get used to being in the stadium, just getting used to the general feel of the area as well. Because as weird as it sounds, going from Goodison Park to Bramley Moore, well, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, it's going to be very, very alien for them for a while. So doing this will help progress into that. Okay, next section. Michael Keane signs a new contract. So, with this one, this is very interesting. Now, When this initially came out, I didn't know what to think about it. I really didn't know what to think about it. I wasn't sure whether to be happy. I wasn't sure whether to be angry. I wasn't sure whether to be frustrated or anything like that. But in all honesty, I do think this is a somewhat good thing. Because when you think about it, now, don't get me wrong, last season I was calling for Michael Keane to just go. I will admit to that. But looking at it from this sort of perspective, especially a financial perspective, he's more than likely taking a pay cut. It is more than likely a 1-year contract. So, what is he going to be? He's basically going to be a backup centre-back. As we know, Tarkowski, he's had injuries. Branthwaite has picked up injuries. So outside of that, what would we have had? We had Jacob Bryan and we had Michael Keane. So let's say next season, we have a double whammy. Let's say Tarkowski gets injured and then 2 games later, Branthwaite gets injured. They're both out for, say, a month to 2 months. What then? What would happen then is Jacob Bryan would come in. And then from there, you'd have to either recruit from the academy, get the academy, one of the academy lads up, and hope for the best from there. Or prior to that, we sign someone. Now, the problem is with signing someone, let's say we get a free agent. The problem is there, you've got to pay the wages and you've got to pay the agent's bill. So normally with these agents, it can be anywhere in the hundreds of thousands to even millions, just to simply get them through the door. But if we were to say, do the unthinkable and actually buy someone, buy a centre-back, what then? It's going to cost you money. You're going to pay, say, anywhere between 5, 10, 20, 30 million for a centre-back that's going to sit on the bench. Only for them to basically wait for either Branthwaite to slip up, Tarkowski slip up, pick up an injury, pick up a suspension, something along those lines. Only for them to come in for a few games. That's a massive waste of money. The more financially viable option would be Michael Keane gets an extension on his contract, takes a bit of a pay dip. Oh, it hurts me to say this. I'm joking, of course. Just doing that for a little bit of dramaticness. So yeah. So Michael Keane gets an extension on his contract. He has probably even taken a pay dip. He's probably went down to about 50,000 or even 60,000 a week. When you take that into account over the course of this calendar year, it's basically about 10, maybe even 15 million at the most. So what you've got to take into account is that. So let's say, for argument's sake, we signed a £10 million centre back, and we give him say 50 grand a week. But our pocket there by about, let's see. So you've basically spent 17.5 million in that regard. Whereas keeping Michael Keane, it's between maybe 7.5 to maybe 10 million. So it seems like a more viable option to keep Michael Keane in that sort of regard. But yeah, so overall, I'm happy to see them. He's going to end up being a bench warmer, don't get me wrong. But it's better the devil you know than someone coming in who's complete not an unknown. Okay? Everton are close to signing Tiana Barry. I don't even know whether that's the right way to say his name in all honesty. So Tiana Barry is a centre forward from Villarreal. Really good, very young, very raw centre forwards. He gives me an air of a cross between, say, Nikita Jelavic, Jermaine Beckford, and a subtle hint of Louis Saha. That's how I sort of envision him. The way he sort of plays and everything. He's very raw still. His talent is there. He's quick. He knows where the net is, which... for a for a centre forward, you need someone who knows where the net is. We've got better, don't get me wrong. But let's look at Tiana Barry. Is he the sort of centre forward that is going to get you 20 goals a season? Absolutely not. There is very few centre forwards in this day and age who will guarantee you 20 goals a season. The only ones I can take off the top of my head would be, and one of them isn't even a centre forward, Mo Salah. Hurts for me to say it, but Mo Salah. Who else? Erling Haaland. Harry Kane. When Yamal gets into his prime, Lamine Yamal. Martinez. Martinez and Inter. Who's the other one? Thuram, is it? Thuram from Inter as well. They're the sort of centre forwards who get you up there in terms of goals. In regards to 20, though, you maybe, I don't know, Salah, Haaland, Keane. That's about it, really. They're the sort of players who are of an elite pedigree, and you're going to get yourself a price tag with them sort of people between hundreds to 150 million. Maybe even more. The contracts that they have, some of them have stupid release clauses. You're talking 2, 3 to even 500 million on some of their release clauses. So what's the next best thing? Personally, I would say a 10 to 15 goal a season striker. Tiana Barry fits this. Beto fits this. But the thing is, you want these guys to be working alongside your wingers, your attacking midfielders, and your outlying players, your anomalies when it comes to goals. So the likes of your Mikolenko's, your Tarkowski's, your Branthwaites, your O'Briens, your James Garners, your Drissa Garner-Gays. These guys outside of there, they're going to pick up, say, 1 to 2 goals as well. So let's do some math. Let's say, for argument's sake, we have Tiana Barry. He gets you 12 goals. That's great. Beto's there as well. He gets you between 10 and 12 goals. Sweet. Where then? Okay. So I'm thinking Iliman Ndiaye. He will get you goals. He'll get you at least 10 goals, I think. I think 10 goals from Iliman Ndiaye with maybe 5 to 6 assists. Charlie Alcaraz, let's say. 10 goals as well. And then from there, maybe Dwight McNeil. Because the way it's looking at the moment, I don't think a number 10 is what we're looking at the moment. I've not seen anything pop up for number 10s. So, Dwight McNeil, let's say. He gets you 10 goals as well. So, all of a sudden, 10, 10, 10, 15, and 10. You're talking probably what? About 55 goals there. Just from that alone. 55 goals. That's great. And then your outliers. So, Mikolenko, 1. Tarkowski, 1. Jake O'Brien, 1 or 2. Jared Branthwaite, 1. James Garner, maybe 1. He hasn't scored last season, but I do think, given game time, I do think he knows where the net is. Drissa Gay, 1. So again, outliers there. So you're talking maybe 60 to 65 goals in that squad over the course of a season. So that's what? Almost 2 goals a game. That's great. I would love that. Then from there, it's basically making sure your defense is rock solid. Let's say, for argument's sake, if we only concede half of that, 30 goals, let's say 40. It's about right, in all honesty, for Everton, especially when we're taking on bigger teams. So the likes of your Liverpools, your Man Cities, your Chelseas, them sorts of teams, they do get more than 1 goal against you normally. I don't like saying that. It really hurts me. I want to say that Everton are going to go 38 games, 38 wins, no draws, no losses, 65 goals for us, 0 against us. I would love to say that, but let's be realistic. It's Everton we're talking about. We're building something great, but it's going to take us time. But yeah, I've talked on about this way too long now, so let's move on to the next section. Okay. Garner is set to sign a new contract. Apparently, it's going to be a 1-year contract with a 1-year extension down to him as well. That 1-year extension is up to him. It's basically to say, you got 1 year, but if you want to, I'm not sure actually. I think it's one of 2 ways. Either it's at his discretion or it's at the club's discretion based on performance. So in that sort of regards, it pretty much means, let's say based on performance, let's say for argument's sake, he picks up a really, really bad injury and he misses out on 2/3 of the season. Touch wood, that doesn't happen. But in that sort of regards, they might turn around and say, look, we're not looking at extending your contract just because we feel like you've offered all you can to the club. We are so gratefully appreciative of what you've done for the club, but it's time for you to move on. It's them sort of ways of doing it. It's a nice way of putting it. If you're injured and you're no good to the club, they will drop you. That's how football is in this day and age. So to see him get a nice little extension on his contract, that's amazing. I haven't seen anything on the Everton website saying that he's signed it yet. I do think he's still overseas. I'm not sure though. I need to have a look over the training footage properly and pinpoint him. The main focus in them training footage as well, it was James Garner, Tarkowski, Branthwaite. It was a lot of those guys. So to see, I need to really look over and make sure. But yeah, So, speaking of which, the Everton players are now back in Fitch Farm for fitness assessments and pre-season training. So quite a few of the team was back there. So you saw the likes of Charlie Alcaraz. Did I see Beto? I think I saw Beto. I think I saw Chimiti as well. Branthwaite was back. Tarkowski was back. Speaking of which, great to see Tarkowski back. Yeah, quite a few of the players were back. A couple of the youngsters were there as well. I'm not sure whether Harrison Armstrong was there as well, if I'm not mistaken. I need to look up. This is the problem with it. There was a lot of faces there, but the problem is I'm bad with faces. I am so bad with faces. Unless that person has got a very unique feature about them. You know, like Tarkowski, Branthwaite's bloody height, and the Branthwaite demeanour. A lot of the lads sort of blend in. It's hard to say, but that's what happens sometimes. You're sort of looking... You're watching a video and you just don't seem to pay too much attention to some of the people with more common faces. The ones who stand out and have a very distinct look about them, who will sit out in front of me. So yeah, it's good to see them back. They've got the new training gear on as well. It looks great. This one is actually a better one than the last one. Same with the coaching one. Speaking of which, Everton, come on, coaches' kits. Release them. You will get me buying them. I like them. Especially this one. It's a nice blue one. It is really good. I want us to get it. I really do want us to get this one out for public distribution because that will go like hotcakes. Honestly. So yeah. Tarkowski is looking to return sooner than expected. Right. So James Tarkowski. Let's have a little chat about Jamesy. So... last season, as we know, he has a fairly serious hamstring injury after during the Man City game. Basically, tripped over the ball, essentially. Basically tried to bring the ball down. And as a result, went over it and raised his hamstring. And he probably seriously overstrained it. Now, the problem is, though, it's a bit worrying when you hear of hamstring injuries because they either take a really long time and require surgery to go out, to get sorted out. Or they come back and they just don't have the pace anymore. I know this myself. I've strained my hamstring in the past. And even to this day, when I run for a really prolonged period of time, I feel it's starting to throb. It doesn't progress past a certain point, but I know it's hurting me. I can feel it. It's dull. And you need a lot of physio to get through it. But the good thing is we've got a really good physio team with the football club. So I think... him at the moment, seeing him in these videos, in the training videos and everything like that, he should be back potentially. I'm hoping pre-season. I really do want to see him. Let's say, for argument's sake, the earliest we see him come back is the last test event, the third Everton test event against Roma. If he comes back for that, I think that is a good recovery time for his hamstring injury. I don't think seeing him come back sooner would be a good thing. In all honesty, I'll be concerned if I see him back in the squad, say when we're taking on Bournemouth or Man U, when we're over in America, because that tells me that he's back a little too soon. Don't get me wrong, James Tarkowski is a very, very hearty player. He's built different. His muscle is made out of vibranium. It's either made out of vibranium or adamantium. He's built like an absolute unit. I've seen him taking crunching tackles. I've seen him giving crunching tackles. I've seen all sorts about him, but I don't want him to think, right, I need to get back as soon as possible. I would rather him come back and make sure he's 100%, or well, as close to 100% as you can physically get in football, because let's be honest, no player in the top level of any football league or club is 100% fit. I've been told this by professional coaches. I've been told this by professional physios. They are always, probably say about between 70 and 90% fit. They're carrying something, not like in a really bad way. It might be a bit of a strain here or there. It might be, like a bit of a sore back. It might be a bit of a stiff neck. It might be a bit of shin splints. It's always something that they're carrying. It's nothing in the way of like, they've got a broken leg and they're running around on broken legs or something like that. They've always got a very slight bit wrong. They've always got that bit of a tightness around the groin or a bit of a tightness in the calf. but it's not enough for them to stop playing. But they've always got something like this lingering in the background when they're playing. So seeing those guys run around the pitch for almost 2 hours and doing what they do at their level whilst they've got these sorts of things going on is very much an admirable thing. And if I was wearing a hat, I would be taking it off to them. Right, on to the next one. Harrison might be coming back. And I don't mean Harrison Armstrong either. So we already know Harrison Armstrong's back at the club. But Jack Harrison might be coming back. So from what has been circulating, apparently Everton may potentially be looking at buying Jack Harrison off Leeds at a severely cut rate. This is apparently going to be about 5. I've heard numbers between 5 and 10 million, or even potentially looking at getting him on a third loan. Personally, I love what he's done with the club. All the stuff that he's done with the club, he's done great. He's got a goal last season. He got a goal the season before. His contribution inside of the field is good, but I think it is time for us to move on from him. Because the thing is, we've got about 3 or 4 left wingers now. Honestly, we've got 3 or 4 players who can play on that left wing. So having another one is just no benefit to us. I mean, we're having to take people who are naturally, left wingers and putting them somewhere else. Dwight McNeil, he's going to end up being the number 10 this season, I think, for Everton. So you're going to have Illiman and Dow on the left, and you're going to have Alcaraz on the right. But Dwight McNeil is naturally a left winger. He likes to be on the left. Illiman and Dye's another one. In some situations, he might have to come into the middle of the park. Now, bear in mind, he does well in the middle of the park, but he seems to be better out on the left. I find he's better out on the left. What else can I say? I think Jack's time at the club has been good, but it's not good enough that we should be spending money on him, in my personal opinion. I think we need to look at someone else. Preferably a solid right winger or a solid right back who can move up the pitch. Because even though I just said in that argument then, having Alcaraz and Ndiaye in the starting 11 is great. My only concern is if one of them gets injured. From there, you create a cavity in the squad. Because as you've seen, Ilman Ndiaye, his movement with the ball, his ability to beat people is just... it's otherworldly. Likewise with Alcaraz, the only difference with Alcaraz is he's a lot more tenacious with it. What happens is when he's not got the ball, he will axe you down to get the ball. He charges through them. So I do think we do need to look at a right winger. And you have it so that, say, you have your starting 11 and you have, say, either Ndiaye or Alcaraz on the left, and then your right winger or Alcaraz on the right. Or you can have it in a situation where, let's say, Dwight McNeil's not doing too well. He needs to take a couple of games off and, rest his legs on the bench. Then you have Ilman and Ndiaye potentially in the middle with Alcaraz on the left, or vice versa, and then your new right winger. There's ways we can go about it. But I don't think Jack Harrison's the option. I don't think he's the final product, in all fairness. It's bad to say, unless we go with a tactic where, as I said, you have Alcaraz or Ndiaye on the right, you have McNeil in the middle, and you have Harrison on the left, because Harrison does play well on the left. That's his natural position. The only thing is we kept playing him on the right. It's not the position he plays in. He does terrible out there, and we've seen that time and time again. So let's not go for him, in all honesty. Let's look at other options. There's much better options out there, I think. But yeah. And finally. So, Everton have installed the first of 4 badges on the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Now, I was over there earlier this afternoon, and unfortunately the gates were locked. I couldn't really, peek in and actually see it from the northeast corner. I did, however, get a nice little photo, which you can see right here. And we got a nice little angle of it. To be honest, I like the photo they've done, just because you're sort of seeing it across the park. You can see the badge in the corner, and it just gives you that feeling of soon. We're going to be there soon. And let's be honest, it is. It's just over a month from now. The third test event happens. And then from there, you just got to wait about 2-3 more weeks, and then we're going to be in there. I'm looking forward to this so much. I've got my ticket there. I'm in my season ticket area. So I went to the first test event and I was in the lower south. This one, I'm going to be in the upper south in my season ticket, like I said. I'm going to be row 50, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so block 208, row 50, seat. It's in the 150 my seat. I know that off the top of my head. It's around 150, 150, 152, or 153. One of them three. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is the weird thing. I thought I'd be looking at it obsessed with, like, my precious. Going full Gollum at the thought of sitting in my seat in the new stadium and everything, but it's not the case at the moment. I've just been focusing on myself as of late. That's why it's why the videos have been lacking as of late. That and the fact that the weather's not exactly been great for the drone, especially for the past couple of, I say that. Last week, I did something rather crazy. So I did a skydive. I didn't put it on the channel, but you know what? Let's talk about it now before we finish up, eh? Right. Woo. So, not sure if you can see it, right? So I was doing a charity thing for Woodlands Hospice. So most people know what Woodlands Hospice is. They help people with severe medical issues. The likes of people suffering with cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, stuff like that. And they were doing a charity run. Well, I'll say charity run, more like a charity skydive. And me and my mum decided to do it. I will put the video right here. It's embarrassing. I'm going to let it run while I'm talking. And pretty much the skydive was for the charity. Me and my mum raised, I think it was around £1.5 grand. But the charity overall raised over £12,000 and it's still ongoing. I will put a link down below if you want to donate. It would be massively appreciated. But yeah, so skydiving, that is a scary experience. I will say that for nothing. Don't get me wrong, it is exciting, but it's also bloody terrifying. So what happens is I jumped from 11,000 feet, and the good thing is I had a lad, Nick, who was my tandem person. He is a RAF instructor, so I had the safest hands possible attached to me. And you see it all in the video. Up here. It's blatantly obvious. I am crapping bricks at this point. You can see it in the way that my arms are moving, the way I'm just focused on not dying. It's a weird experience, to tell you the God's honest truth. But yeah. So it was amazing, terrifying, and as an experience I might be tempted to do again in the near future. There is another one that'll be in the future. I think we're going to be doing an abseil down the cathedral. That will be a lot less scarier than the skydive, in my personal opinion. But yeah, it was really, really good to do. I greatly enjoyed the entire experience. I was massively appreciate the fact that I was even being able to I was even considered to be able to help with them. And I would do it all over again. It would honestly be something I would do all over again. I've done something for a really good cause. I've helped them so much. And I have zero regrets of it. But yeah. I'd like to say a massive thank you very much. I'd like to say a massive thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate all the support that you guys give me. I am sorry that things have been a bit lacking as of late. I know it's been nearly 2 weeks since I've last uploaded the video, and I'm sorry for that. Things will probably get back to normal once the season kicks off again. Once the stadium's complete, I'm going to focus on pre-match and post-match stuff. It's a bit difficult, if I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth, just for the fact that it's a little bit out of my norm. Normally, I'm used to just staring at a screen, talking about what I see on the screen in regards to the drone and everything. But when you've got the camera in front of you, there's a whole different experience with it. Just for the fact that I've got to sort of think on the fly. I'm not saying what I see. So I'm trying to use this little bit of grey matter, all 3 brain cells in there, currently trying to fight for 4th place. But yeah, it's just doing all this is a new experience. So being able to just crack on with it, and I'm going to be learning. So over the course of this year, it is going to most likely be a learning experience. So I greatly appreciate your continued support. If you like the format that we're doing here today, so it's pretty much just weekly roundup. We've broke it down into smaller chunks, but chances are this video is probably going to be nearly, let's see what we at now, 36 minutes. So we're talking anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes broken down into the week. It's almost like a podcast in its own right. It should be called the Lonely Guys Podcast. It's like, welcome to my podcast. I am all alone talking to myself. Some call it schizophrenia. Some call it paranoia. I call it a podcast. I should not have been a stand-up comedian. And it's a good thing I'm not a stand-up comedian. I would be terrible. The first heckle, I'd be like, so mean. Why are you being mean? I digress. I'm joking and I'm digressing. I'm going off topic. So yeah, anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for your continued support. As I've said, the course of the next season, it's basically just going to be pre-match and post-match. I might have people on. I might not have people on. We'll work with it as it comes, you know. It's going to be a new experience. Like I said, I don't want this channel to sort of fade into obscurity. Hence the reason why I want to continue doing this, because I do enjoy doing these sorts of things, and your continued support is massively appreciated. So if you like this video, you know what to do. If you want to suggest anything in the comment section, whether instead of doing the weekly roundup, you'd rather have like a smaller 5 to 10 minute video where I talk about a specific topic, whether it's something else, put it in the comments below. It's always greatly appreciated. And again, if you want to be a part of the Cup of Coffee tier, it's massively appreciated. I've said appreciated way too many times. If someone can put a thing in the tally below how many times I've said that word, that'd be awesome. I was about to say it again. But yeah, so supporting the channel via the Cup of Coffee tier is greatly loved, just for the fact that it helps me upgrade my hardware, it helps me upgrade my software, it helps me do other things. As I said, at some point in the future, we are going to work at the backdrop here, because as you can see, you've got a little patch here where it's white, and it hurts my OCD. So yeah, on top of that, I want to get some acoustic on the sides here, hopefully, because it might be a little bit echoey in this, but if it is, sorry. If it isn't, yay. So yeah, also, if you want to donate to the Team Woodlands and everything like that, I have put it in the comment section below. If you are able to support them, it is greatly, greatly appreciated. And it's going to a really good cause. Anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to see you all in the next video. Peace.